Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video we're going to show you how to change out the KitchenAid refrigerator dispenser water tube kit. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the mounting screw, a new bracket, and the water tube. The dispenser water tube kit goes from the bottom of the freezer door up into the dispenser. The main reason to be changing it out is if the plastic tube is damaged and you're getting water leaking out. In order to change the part, first thing we're going to do is open up both the doors, and then we have to remove the kick panel down at the bottom so we can get access to the water line. To get the kick plate off, we're going to take a putty knife and carefully put it in between the kick plate and the body and just twist it to pop it off. Once you have one side off, you can just grab it and pull the other side off. Once you have both sides released, you can set it aside. Before we disconnect the line, we're going to throw a towel down to catch any water that might come out of the lines when we disconnect them. And then you can grab the line and pull it out a little bit so we have some room to work on it. We're going to disconnect the 1/4 inch side. So we're going to take a small wrench, like a 3/8, and use that to press in this little locking retainer. And once you have that depressed, then you can pull the water line out from the other side. Now that we have the water supply line disconnected, we can close both the doors. And then we're going to come over to the freezer door and take the dispenser apart. First thing we're going to do is remove the little drip tray. All you have to do is slide it out of its little slot and set it aside. With the drip tray out of the way, we can remove the 2 screws that holds in the dispenser trim. With the screws out of the way, we can take the dispenser trim off. We're just going to slide it over to the side. There's a bunch of wires attached to the switch behind it. We don't want to take them off. So very carefully, so you don't scratch your paint, just swing it out of the way like this, and then we're going to tape it to the side of the refrigerator. With the dispenser trim out of the way, we can remove this bracket that everything mounts on. It's held in by 2 screws. We're going to use our 1/4 inch nut driver to take them out. With the screws out of the way, we can lift the bracket up and tape it to the freezer door. Now that we have the dispenser taken apart and taped up, we can use our 1/4 inch nut driver to remove the 1 screw that holds the bracket in that holds the dispenser water tube. With the screw out of the way, we can pull the bracket off that little post that it was screwed into. And once it's off of there, the only thing we have to do is pull the water line up through the door. So just grab the bracket and use that to pull the water line through the dispenser. Once you have the end of it through the dispenser, we can pull it out of the refrigerator. Here's the old dispenser water tube kit next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. Our version of the old and the new one is pretty much the same. You may have the old version that has the anti-drip valve on it. They no longer make that, so you're not going to use that when you put the new one in. In order to run the water tube through the freezer door, we're going to start at the bottom where it came through at the hinge. There's actually a hole and a tube that goes straight up to the dispenser. So all we have to do is put it up through the hole in the hinge and feed it all the way up until we feel it come out the top of the dispenser. You'll feel a little resistance, and then you can push a little bit more, and then we can go up to the top and pull it the rest of the way. If you can't reach the water tube with your fingers, you can reach back with the needle nose pliers and grab it and pull it out so we can put the bracket on. To put the water bracket on, all we have to do is grab the water tube, and we're going to feed it down through the hole right here. And we're going to have it stick about 3/4 of an inch out. And then we're going to go underneath this tab. And then right here where it pinches the water line together. Once you have that installed, then we can rotate it like it's going to go into the refrigerator. And we're going to pull on the water line on the bottom of the door to take out that extra slack so we can mount the bracket. Once you get it close, you can line the bracket up onto its mounting stud. And once you have it bottomed out, you can use your 1/4-inch nut driver to put the screw in to hold it in place. Now that we have the dispenser water tube bracket mounted, we can put the dispenser back together and then go down below and trim the water line. First thing we're going to do is take the tape off the bracket and swing it back down into place. All you have to do is line it up and push it into place, and then we can use our nut driver to put the 1/4-inch screws back in. With the bracket in place, we can carefully remove the tape from the dispenser front panel, and then we're going to carefully swing it around so we can hook it onto these little tabs right here. And we can push it back in place and use a Phillips screwdriver to put the screws in. Now that we have the dispenser face reattached, we can put the drip tray back in. All you have to do is slide it into its slot and snap it in. Now that we have the dispenser back together, we're going to open up both doors so we can trim the water line and put the kick plate back on. We're going to grab this water line, and they give you a little extra, so we're going to have to basically trim it off so it comes right over to this fitting like it was when we took it apart. So we're just going to eyeball it. It doesn't have to be exact, but get it pretty close. And then we're going to take a wood block and a razor blade. When you're getting ready to cut the water line, it's important to make sure you use a very sharp knife and that you slowly put pressure on the water line. You don't want to kink it or make any sharp corners as you squash it and cut it. So when you're ready to put it back in, it should be a nice, clean, round tube. Now that we have the line cut off the length, we can put it into the union. All you have to do is carefully push it in so it goes past the O-ring and locks in, and you get a good seal. Once you have it pushed all the way in, it shouldn't come out. Then we can push the water line back up underneath the refrigerator and put the kick plate back on. To put the kick panel on, all you have to do is line up the locking clips on each end and push them in. Now that you have the kick panel back on, you can close both the refrigerator and freezer doors, and then you want to plug the refrigerator back in and run some water through the dispenser to get any air bubbles out of the line. Once you do that, you can make sure the refrigerator starts to cool. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.